The judge's hammer hits the polished wood and the sound vibrates right through me, feeling like a final judgment on all the years I've kept my peace. Here I am, Martha Jenkins, 68 years old, sitting on this hard bench with my hands, spotted with age, clutching an old shoebox I've held onto for 14 years. My heart is beating so loud I'm sure the whole room can hear it. Across from me sits my daughter, Cynthia, in her expensive-looking suit. Her lawyer, a sharp man named Mr. Davies, is pointing at me like I'm a common criminal. Her eyes are filled with a fire I don't recognize, or maybe I recognize it all too well. "Your Honor," Cynthia says, her voice trying to sound shaky but coming out firm. "My mother has kept my children from me for 14 years against my will. This is parental kidnapping. I never gave her permission to take them." Her words are like ice picks. Kidnapping. That word just hangs in the air, stabbing me right in the chest where I keep all my pain. I look back to the third row and see my 3 grandchildren. Michael, 21, Lisa, 19, and my baby, Sarah, now 17. Their faces are just pale and confused, like they're watching a play they don't understand the words to. Judge Robert Hayes, a man with kind eyes and a tired face, looks at me over his glasses. "Mrs. Jenkins, what is your response to this accusation?" My fingers tighten on the shoebox. Inside is the truth I've held all this time, protecting it, or maybe hiding it. "Your Honor," I say, my voice steady, "I didn't kidnap anybody. I just raised the children my daughter abandoned on my front porch." "That's a lie!" Cynthia shouts, jumping to her feet. "I never abandoned them. I was sick. I had severe postnatal complications and needed help." Her lawyer gently pushes her back down. "Your Honor, my client was hospitalized for a severe medical condition. She needed urgent treatment. Mrs. Jenkins took advantage of that vulnerability to seize the children and alienate them from their biological mother." I hear whispers in the courtroom. People are nodding, already deciding who the villain is. But they don't know. They don't know about the 14 years of fevers, the nightmares, the school plays I sat through alone, the scraped knees, and the hugs when they cried, asking for the very woman who now sits accusing me. "Mrs. Jenkins," the judge says, a little softer, "I understand this has been a burden, but if the biological mother is petitioning for custody—" "With all due respect, Your Honor," I interrupt, my voice stronger than I thought it could be. "There are things this court has to know before any decision is made." I lift the old shoebox. It's a simple thing, but I see Cynthia's eyes go wide. I see real fear in them. "In here," I say, "I have the proof that will change this entire conversation." The judge leans forward. "What kind of proof?" "Proof of what really happened 14 years ago. And proof of why my daughter is really here today. And I promise you, Your Honor, it is not because of a mother's love." My voice shakes, just a little. Cynthia is pale as a sheet. "Mom, please, don't." "Don't what, Cynthia? Tell the truth?" Mr. Davies stands up. "Your Honor, Mrs. Jenkins is creating a diversion. Past documents don't change my client's legal rights." "Oh, on the contrary," I say, looking right into my daughter's eyes. "These documents explain exactly why we are here. They explain why after 14 years of absolute silence, not $1, not one birthday card, not even a call at Christmas, my daughter suddenly shows up with a lawyer." The room is heavy and silent. I can hear my own heart, the rustle of the lawyer's papers, and the quick, shallow breathing of my grandkids behind me. The judge looks hard at me. "Mrs. Jenkins, are you suggesting there are hidden motives in this lawsuit?" "I'm not suggesting, Your Honor. I'm stating it." My eyes lock with Cynthia's, and I see the same look she had when she was 5, and I caught her with her hand in the cookie jar. "And it's all right here in this box." "Mom," Cynthia whispers, "please, think about what you're doing." "I've had 14 years to think," I reply. 14 years of sleepless nights when Michael had the flu. 14 years of parent-teacher conferences where I was the only family. 14 years of waiting for a phone call that never, ever came. Judge Hayes taps his gavel. Mrs. Jenkins, are you prepared to enter these items as evidence? I look down at the box. Inside are the letters Cynthia wrote me, the photos I took, the receipts I saved, and something else. Something even my grandchildren don't know I have. Something that changes everything. Yes, Your Honor, I am. The judge nods. Very well. But before we open that box, I want to hear your full account. Tell us what happened 14 years ago. I close my eyes for just a second, and I'm right back there. It was a cold Tuesday in November. I remember I was rubbing cream on my bad knee. My arthritis was acting up. Then I heard a knock. It was almost dark. Cynthia was at my door with the 3 children. Michael was 7, Lisa was 5, and little Sarah was barely 3. They were filthy, Your Honor. Their clothes were wrinkled, and the little ones were crying. They were so hungry. I glance at my grandchildren. Michael looks down, remembering. Lisa's eyes are shiny with tears. Sarah just hugs herself, a habit she's had since she was small. My daughter, I continue, blew into my house like a storm. She had one plastic grocery bag with a few of their clothes, all balled up. She said, Mom, I need you to watch them for a little while. Just an hour or 2. I have to sort something out. Cynthia stares at her hands. Her lawyer whispers, but she doesn't move. I asked her what was wrong. I asked if she needed money, if something happened with the children's father. But she just kept repeating, I'll be right back. Just an hour. She gave each of them a quick kiss on the head, and she left. The children ran to the window, banging on the glass, shouting, Mommy, Mommy! But she was already in a car that was waiting for her, and she was gone. The courtroom is dead quiet. That night, Michael asked me when his mom was coming back. I told him, soon. Sarah cried all night for a little teddy bear she'd left behind. And Lisa, my Lisa, she just helped me make dinner with her tiny hands, like she already understood it was on us now. My voice cracks. I take a sip of water. Days passed, then weeks. I didn't know where she lived. She'd moved. I had no number to call. The children asked for her every single day. Michael, he started wetting the bed. Lisa stopped talking for almost a month. And Sarah, my baby, she got a rash that just wouldn't go away. I see Cynthia shifting in her chair. I had to enroll them in the school down the street. I needed their birth certificates. I went to her old apartment. The neighbors said she had left without paying 2 months' rent. The landlord handed me a box of things she'd left behind. Some of the children's papers were in it. Judge Hayes makes a note. Did you try to report this to the authorities, Mrs. Jenkins? Your Honor, I thought it was temporary. I thought she was just overwhelmed. She'd had hard times before. I believed she would come back. Besides, what would I say? That my daughter left her kids with me? At that moment, it wasn't a crime. It was a grandmother helping. I look right at Cynthia. But months passed, then a year. Michael turned 8 and asked if his mom could come to his party. Lisa started 1st grade. When the teacher asked about her parents, she pointed at me and said, That's my mom, Martha. The tears are coming, but I blink them back. The expenses? My little retirement fund was just for me. Suddenly, I had 3 mouths to feed, 3 bodies to clothe, 3 minds to educate. I sold my late husband's jewelry. I took a job cleaning offices at night. My neighbor, Mrs. Doris Peterson, a sweet woman, she watched the little ones while I worked. The judge looks up. Peterson? Any relation to... She's my cousin, Your Honor, and she is waiting outside this courtroom to testify about every single struggle. Cynthia and her lawyer exchange a look. They didn't plan on that. When Sarah turned 5, we had a crisis. She broke her arm at the playground, the hospital. They needed parental authorization, insurance. papers I didn't have. That's when I knew I had to make it legal. I hired a lawyer with the last of my savings. Cost me $900 I didn't have. We tried to locate Cynthia, published notices in the paper like the law said. Nothing. And you obtained guardianship? The judge asks. Yes, Your Honor. 11 years ago. This very court granted me full legal guardianship. For 3 years, the law made us keep searching for her. She never appeared, never called, never sent a single dollar. Cynthia jumps up again. I was struggling. I was in therapy. I wasn't well. Please sit down, the judge orders. Continue, Mrs. Jenkins. They grew up with me. Michael got a scholarship to community college. Lisa wins art prizes. Sarah plays the clarinet in the school band. I took them to every doctor's appointment, every school meeting. I never lied to them. I told them their mother loved them but was unable to care for them. I saved every drawing they made for her, just in case. And they had no contact with her? In 14 years? Not one time, Your Honor. Until 3 months ago, when she appeared at my home with Mr. Davies and a custody demand. The judge leans forward. 3 months ago. And what changed after 14 years of total absence? I smile, but it's a sad smile. I lift the old shoebox. That, Your Honor, is the answer in this box. Judge Hayes holds out his hand. Mrs. Jenkins, please approach the bench and present these documents. I stand up, my knees aching, but I walk toward the judge. I hear Cynthia's sharp breathing. Your Honor, Mr. Davies says, I object to any unverified documents. You will have a chance to review them, Counselor. Mrs. Jenkins, please hand the box to the clerk. I open the lid. My hands are shaking. Inside, photographs, letters, and folded papers. Let's start with these, I say, pulling out a small stack of photos. I took these the day Cynthia left them. The clerk passes them to the judge. His face gets dark. Describe these images, please. That first photo is Michael. His shoes are held together with tape. The second is Lisa, with matted hair and food dried on her face. The third is Sarah, in a diaper that was clearly unchanged for hours. Cynthia puts her head in her hands. I took them, I say, because my neighbor, Mrs. Peterson, she used to be a nurse. She told me, Martha, you document everything, just in case. The judge hands the photos to Mr. Davies, who barely glances at them. Now, these, I say, pulling out a small bundle of letters. These are letters Cynthia wrote to me in the first 6 months. The judge takes them. In her handwriting? Yes, Your Honor, I'd know it anywhere. I look at Cynthia. Tell the judge what they say, daughter. She stays silent, but her lawyer starts reading and his face changes. Your Honor, I say. In the first letter, dated 2 weeks after she left, Cynthia told me she had met a new man, Robert Green, that she was moving to another state with him. She asked me to hold on to the kids longer, because her new partner didn't want baggage. The room is stone silent. Cynthia is crying. In the second letter, I continue, she told me she was pregnant with Robert's child, and that she couldn't come back, because he threatened to leave her if she brought her past life into their new one. Pregnant? The judge asks, shocked. Yes. My daughter has another child, a son David who is 13 years old. A son she was able to raise, because it was convenient for her new man. Michael, Lisa, and Sarah look at each other, stunned. They never knew. I couldn't bring myself to tell them they had a brother. In the third letter, my voice gets hard. She asked me to sign papers officially giving up any claim to her so she could start her new life. She offered me $300 for my trouble. Mr. Davies looks sick. This wasn't the story she told him. Did you sign? The judge asks. No, I wrote back. I told her I didn't want her money. I told her if she wanted to disappear, to do it completely, and not to contact us again until she was truly ready to be a mother. I pull one last paper from the stack. This was her reply. The last letter we got in 14 years. The judge reads it, and his expression is like granite. "Mrs. Jenkins, please read this aloud." I take the paper. It says, "Mom, fine. I won't be a bother. Raise the kids well. I have my own life now. If they ask, just tell them I'm gone. It's better this way." "Cynthia." Tears are rolling down my grandkids' faces. "Your Honor," I say, "for 14 years, I respected her choice. I raised her children. I hoped one day she'd return for the right reasons." "And why do you believe she has returned now?" the judge asks. I pull the next document from the box. "Because 3 months ago, my sister, Grace Jenkins, Cynthia's aunt, passed away in Georgia. She never had children of her own." The judge leans in. "And?" "My sister," I say, "left a significant trust fund. $75,000 to Michael, $75,000 to Lisa, and $75,000 to Sarah." Cynthia is sobbing, and her lawyer looks like he wants to leave. "But," I continue, "the trust specifies the money can only be accessed by the children under the custody of their legal guardian. And I, as their guardian, was just starting the paperwork." "Are you suggesting," the judge says, "that she returned only to get access to this $225,000 inheritance?" I pull out a thin report. This is from a private investigator. It shows that exactly 2.5 months ago, she hired Mr. Davies and began investigating my sister's will. "Objection," the lawyer shouts. "That's illegal." "It's perfectly legal," I say calmly. "I hired a licensed investigator after my daughter showed up threatening me. I have a right to protect my family." "Order," the judge says. "Mrs. Jenkins, is there anything else in that shoebox?" I look at the box. It feels lighter, but the heaviest secret is still inside. "Yes, Your Honor. One last thing. Something even my grandchildren don't know." Judge Hayes adjusts his glasses. "What else does that box contain?" "Your Honor, before I show this last item, I would like the court to hear from my grandchildren. I think it's only fair they speak for themselves." Cynthia and her lawyer quickly agree. The judge calls, "Michael Jenkins, please approach." My grandson, 21, stands up. He's a good man. He looks at Cynthia, then at the judge. "Michael," the judge says gently, "do you remember your biological mother?" Michael nods. "Yes, Your Honor. Vague memories. I remember being hungry a lot. I remember confusion. I remember Grandma Martha showing up with groceries. And I remember the day we came to her house. She gave us chicken soup. And your feelings about her absence?" "For a long time. I was angry," Michael says, his voice thick. "I didn't understand. My friends had dads, moms, who came to games. I had my grandma, who worked nights cleaning offices and still never missed a single one. And now that she has returned?" Michael looks right at Cynthia. "Mom, if I can call you that. I'm glad you're okay. But I can't pretend 14 years didn't happen. It hurts. It hurts to know you. You raised another family while we grew up wondering what we did wrong. Where would you like to live, Michael?" "Your Honor, I'm 21. I make my own choices. But if my answer helps my sisters, my choice is clear. I'm staying with my grandma. She's the one who raised us. She's the one who never left." Next, the judge calls Lisa, my 19-year-old artist. "Lisa, what is your perspective?" Lisa takes a deep breath. "I remember more than Michael. I remember our biological mom crying. All the time. I remember her staying in bed all day and we had to be quiet." Cynthia shouts, "I was sick. I had postpartum depression." "Please allow her to finish," the judge says. Lisa continues, "I understand you were sick, but I also remember Grandma Martha's house. For the first time, someone read us a story before bed. Someone told us it would be okay." Tears are on my face now. Grandma took us to counseling when we had nightmares. When I was 15 and got diagnosed with bad asthma, she learned all about my inhalers, my triggers. She's the one who held me when I couldn't breathe. "And your choice?" Your Honor, she is a stranger to me. My grandma. She shared my childhood, my fears, my dreams. The decision is easy. Finally, the judge calls Sarah, my 17-year-old baby. She walks up, so determined. Sarah, your opinion is very important. What do you remember? Sarah looks at Cynthia. I was little, but I remember things. I remember being cold. I remember crying and no one coming. I remember the smell of our apartment. It smelled like sadness. Cynthia just folds in on herself. But I remember Grandma Martha's house, Sarah says. I remember her giving me a warm bath and clean pajamas that smelled like flowers. She made me hot chocolate and sang me a song. Would you like to get to know your biological mother? Sarah thinks. I'm curious, but I'm scared. Scared she'll just leave again. Scared her promises are like the ones from 14 years ago. And where do you feel safe? With my grandma, she says, not hesitating. She has never, ever failed me. When I asked why my mom left, she didn't lie. She told me the truth, that sometimes adults make hard choices, and that she loved me enough to stay. Sarah returns to her seat. The judge looks at me. Mrs. Jenkins, your grandchildren have been very clear. Is there anything else the court must know? I look at my 3 brave grandchildren. Now it's my turn. Yes, Your Honor. There is something else. Something that changes this from a tragedy to something else. I reach into the bottom of the shoebox. I pull out the last document. A single sheet of paper, folded so many times the creases are permanent. This, I say, is a document I found 3 years ago, in that box the landlord gave me. A document Cynthia herself wrote and signed. Cynthia goes white as a ghost. What is this document, Mrs. Jenkins? It is a voluntary surrender of parental rights, Your Honor, written in my daughter's own hand, signed and dated 2 days after she left them with me. The judge stands up from his chair. His face is pure shock. A voluntary surrender? Mrs. Jenkins, are you certain? I am, Your Honor. I hand the document to the clerk. This was in the box of things she abandoned. The landlord, Mr. Henderson, is also available to testify. He will tell this court my daughter asked him for paper and a pen to write something important right after she left them. Mr. Davies, the lawyer, takes the paper. His hands are shaking. His face loses all its color. This can't be real, he mutters. Read it aloud, Mr. Davies, the judge orders. The lawyer swallows. He reads in a choked voice. I, Cynthia Jenkins, 30 years of age, do hereby voluntarily and permanently surrender all my parental rights to my children. Michael Jenkins, 7, Lisa Jenkins, 5, and Sarah Jenkins, 3. The air is sucked out of the room. My grandchildren are holding on to each other, their faces a mask of pain and confusion. Continue, the judge commands. I acknowledge that I do not have the emotional, financial, or psychological capacity to raise them. I fully authorize my mother, Martha Jenkins, to make all legal, medical, and educational decisions related to my children. I waive any right to visit them, contact them, or reclaim them in the future. This decision is definitive and irrevocable. Signed, Cynthia Jenkins. Dated November 12, 2011. Cynthia breaks down, a total hysterical sob. I was sick. I was crazy. I didn't know what I was writing. I wasn't in my right mind. Judge Hayes hits the gavel. Order, Mrs. Jenkins, do you have any witness that this was written voluntarily? Yes, Your Honor. The landlord, Mr. Henderson, who gave her the pen and paper. He is outside. He can testify that my daughter was perfectly calm and coherent. He said she told him she was making a fresh start. Mr. Davies is whispering frantically to Cynthia, but she's just sobbing. Furthermore, I say, there's something else, something I only found out 2 weeks ago, that explains why she is here now. All eyes are on me. Your Honor, my private investigator didn't just look into her past. He looked into her present. And what he found is revealing. I pull a small folder from my purse. Cynthia and her partner, Robert Green, are in deep financial trouble. 6 months ago, he lost his job. 4 months ago, their house went into foreclosure. 3 months ago, right when they found out about my sister's inheritance, they started this custody case. Cynthia lifts her head, her face red and swollen. Mom, please. Let me finish, daughter. My voice is firm. The investigator also found that you and Robert have been living on high-interest loans. You are over $40,000 in debt. The judge looks at the report I handed him. And you believe your grandchildren's $225,000 inheritance is the solution they're seeking? I don't believe it, Your Honor. I know it. Because 1 week ago, my daughter called me. The first time in 14 years. The room gasps. My grandchildren look at me, shocked. I hadn't told them. And what did she say in this call? The judge asks. She told me she was a new person, that she was better, that she wanted her children back. When I asked her, why now? She said she'd been saving up to give them a good life. Then, I pause. I asked her about my sister's inheritance. There was a long silence, and then she said, Mom, that money is for my children. I just want to manage it for them. And what did you reply? I told her the money was already being managed, that it was safe in a trust fund through me, their legal guardian, until they each turned 21, and that's when her tone changed. Cynthia covers her face, knowing what's coming. She told me that as their biological mother, she had more right to that money than I did. She told me she had a lawyer and could fight me. She threatened me, Your Honor. How did she threaten you? She told me that if I didn't voluntarily sign over custody and control of the inheritance, she would accuse me of kidnapping. She said she'd find people to say I had turned the children against her. She told me any judge would always pick a real mother over a grandmother. Michael stands up from his seat. Grandma, why didn't you tell us she threatened you? Because I didn't want you to worry, baby, I say softly, and because I knew the truth would come out right here. The judge hits his gavel. Young man, please sit. Mrs. Jenkins, did you record this call? No, Your Honor, but I have something better. I smile, just a little. After that call, she sent me text messages, repeating her threats. Messages I have printed right here for the court. I hand the printouts to the clerk. The judge reads them, his face getting harder by the second. Can you read some of these, please? I take the pages. Message from July 19th. Mom, just think about it. I'm the mother. The judge will side with me. Don't make this ugly. I continue. Message from July 21st. My lawyer says what you did is parental kidnapping. You could go to jail, old woman. And the last one, my voice is like steel. From July 23rd. Mom, if you give me custody now, we can make a deal on the inheritance. 50-50. You get half for watching them. I get half, 'cause I'm their mother. But if you make me go to court, I'll get all of it. The judge puts the papers down. He looks at Cynthia. Mrs. Green? Did you send these messages? Cynthia is sobbing, unable to speak. Her lawyer looks like he's seen a ghost. Your Honor, I say softly. I'm not here for revenge. I know. I know she was young. I know she had problems. But what I cannot accept is that after 14 years of silence, after writing that she gave them up, after starting a new family, that she comes back only for money. What do you request from the court, Mrs. Jenkins? That my permanent legal guardianship be confirmed, that my daughter's custody demand be thrown out, and that a restraining order be issued, preventing Cynthia from contacting these children unless they decide to, once they are adults. You can't, Cynthia wails. You can't take my children from me. I turn to her. My voice is full of 14 years of pain. Daughter, you gave them up. I'm not taking anything from you. I am just protecting what you threw away. The judge declares a 30-minute recess to review the evidence. The room starts to empty. I just sit there, holding my purse. My grandchildren rush to me, surrounding me. A silent, strong hug that says everything. Grandma, Sarah whispers, why didn't you ever tell us about that letter? Because, I say, stroking her hair, I wanted you to have a chance to make up your own minds about her when you were old enough. I didn't want you growing up with that kind of hate in your hearts. Michael squeezes my hand. But you told us. You always said maybe she'd come back. I didn't lie, Michael. I always hoped. I prayed that she would grow up and come back for the right reasons. I held on to that hope. But when she called me last week, I knew. She wasn't back for you. She was back for the money. Lisa sits next to me. What happens now, Grandma? I don't know, child. But we told the truth. That's all we can do. During the recess, I see Cynthia walking towards us. Her lawyer tries to stop her, but she shakes him off. She looks broken. Mom, she says, her voice trembling. Can we talk? Alone? She starts, her voice so small. I know I made horrible mistakes, but I've changed. I really have. Have you, Cynthia? Or do you just need money? My question is quiet, but it hits hard. She looks down. Both. It's both. Yes, I need the money, but I've missed them. I've missed my children. You've missed them? My voice rises just a little. Cynthia, you had 14 years to miss them. 14 years to send a card, to make one phone call. 14 years to ask if they were sick, if they were happy, if they even remembered you. I was scared, she whispers. I was scared they'd hate me. Then why now? Why, after 14 years of being scared, are you suddenly brave enough to drag them to court? Cynthia leans against the wall. Because Robert, he told me if I didn't try to get my children and their inheritance, he would leave me. He said he couldn't be with a woman who just walked away from $225,000. The honesty of it, it floors me. For a second, I see the scared girl she was. Then you haven't changed at all, I say, and the sadness in my voice is real. 14 years ago, you made a choice based on what a man wanted, and you are here today for the exact same reason. It's not that simple, she hisses, looking around. Mom, you don't know what it's like. Robert, he's been my support. Without him, I have nothing. No job, no home. And your other child, David, the son you were able to raise? She flinches. Paul. His name is David. David is different. He was part of our plan. Michael, Lisa, and Sarah were your children too, Cynthia. They deserved a plan. But I couldn't give them one, she explodes, tears flying. I was a kid. I didn't know how to be a mother. Every time Michael cried, I cried. Every time Lisa had a nightmare, I had a panic attack. I couldn't handle it. For the first time, I feel a tiny sting of pity. Then why didn't you ask me for help? Why didn't you just say, Mom, I'm drowning? Because I was afraid you'd judge me, afraid you'd say I was a bad mother. Cynthia, my voice softens. I would have helped you. We would have figured it out. But you chose to run. You chose to abandon them. I know, she sobs. I know. But Mom, now I can give them, with the inheritance. I can give them a life. With the inheritance. Are you listening to yourself? It's not about the money. It's about 14 years of nothing. It's about you writing down that you gave them away. Cynthia straightens up, and for a second I see the old, sharp defiance. Mom, that paper. It wasn't notarized. It wasn't filed in a court. Legally, it doesn't mean anything. And there it is, the real Cynthia. So this was never about them. It was about finding a loophole to get the money. It's about both, she insists. Mom, we can make a deal. I'll take the kids, but you can see them. We can share the inheritance. You spent money on them. It's only fair you get compensation. Compensation? The word tastes like poison. Cynthia, do you think I raised your children as an investment? Do you think I took them to the doctor? I stayed up all night. I went to parent-teacher conferences because I expected to get paid for it? Stop, just stop. She covers her ears. No, I won't stop. Because you need to hear this. I didn't raise those children to be compensated. I raised them because I love them. Because they are my blood. Because when you abandoned them, someone had to love them unconditionally. Cynthia lowers her hands and her face is just empty. It's the look of someone who has finally run out of excuses. Mom, she whispers, a tiny broken sound. What do I do? What do I do now? Before I can answer, a court officer appears in the doorway. The recess is over. The judge is ready to continue. As we walk back to the courtroom, Cynthia grabs my arm. Her grip is desperate. Mom, one last thing. If I drop the lawsuit, right now, will you let me see them? Just supervised visits? I stop and look her right in the eyes. That decision isn't mine to make anymore, Cynthia. It's theirs. If they want to see you, I won't stop them, but I will not force them. We re-enter the courtroom. Judge Hayes takes his seat, his face grim. Ladies and gentlemen, I have reviewed all the evidence. This case is far more disturbing than a simple custody dispute. He looks directly at Cynthia. Mrs. Green. After examining the voluntary surrender of parental rights, the text messages, and the 14-year history of abandonment, I have some very serious questions. Cynthia stands, shaking. Do you confirm, the judge says, his voice booming, that you wrote this surrender document dated November 12, 2011? Mr. Davies jumps up. Your Honor, my client was suffering from severe postpartum depression. She was not of sound mind. Attorney, the judge cuts him off. I have reviewed the medical records you submitted. They show your client was discharged from psychiatric care 2 months before writing that note. Her doctor certified her as stable and not a danger to herself or others. Cynthia nearly falls. Her lawyer grabs her arm. Furthermore, the judge continues, public records show that Mrs. Cynthia Green legally married Mr. Robert Green on January 5, 2012. Just 7 weeks after writing this surrender. Can you explain to this court how a woman can be mentally incapable of deciding about her children, but perfectly capable of entering into a legal marriage contract? Silence. Dead silence. Your Honor, Cynthia whispers. I just wanted a new life. I thought it was better for them. Better for them? Or better for you? The judge thunders. Cynthia just weeps. Mrs. Green, I have also reviewed the school records for your son, David, born in 2012. You have been a present and active mother. You attended PTA meetings. You went to his school plays. This demonstrates you had the capacity to be a mother. You just chose to reserve that capacity for the child who was convenient for you. Every word is a hammer blow. But most concerning of all, the judge says, holding up my printed text messages, are these. These are explicit threats. Threatening a senior citizen with false accusations of kidnapping to extort money is not only morally bankrupt, it constitutes a felony. Mr. Davies is pale. Your Honor, I request a recess. We wish to withdraw the lawsuit. It's too late for that, counselor, the judge says firmly. In light of this evidence, I have a legal and moral obligation to refer this entire case, including the evidence of extortion, to the district attorney's office to evaluate criminal charges against your client. No, Cynthia screams. Please, I just wanted my children. You did not want your children, Mrs. Green, the judge shouts. You wanted their inheritance. The evidence is overwhelming. He turns to me. My heart stops. Mrs. Martha Jenkins, do you wish to file formal charges for extortion against your daughter? The room spins. I had imagined victory, but I never imagined this. Sending my own daughter to jail. I look at Cynthia, her face a mask of pure terror. I look at my grandchildren, their eyes wide, waiting. I find my answer. Your Honor, I say, my voice shaking but clear. I do not wish to file criminal charges. Cynthia collapses in relief. However, I continue, I do request that the 5-year restraining order be granted, and I request that it be entered into the public record that Cynthia Green voluntarily surrendered all parental rights on November 12, 2011, and that any future attempt to claim custody be considered frivolous and without legal merit. Granted, the judge says, banging his gavel. Mom, no, Cynthia wails. Don't take them from me forever, please. I turn to her, and all the pain of 14 years is in my voice. Valerie, I'm not taking anything. You let them go. You wrote that note. You chose a new life. I am just protecting what you threw away. But they're my children, she sobs. No, I say, my voice soft but firm. They are the children you had. I am the one who raised them. I am the one who loves them. I am the one who sacrificed everything for them. Suddenly, Michael stands up. Your Honor, may I say something? The judge nods. Approach. My grandson walks up, standing tall. Your Honor, I want the record to show that my sisters and I, we do not consider Cynthia Green our mother. She is the woman who gave birth to us, but our mother is Martha Jenkins, the woman who raised us, who loved us, and who never abandoned us. He turns to Cynthia. And I want you to know, if you ever really change, if you ever get real help and can offer real love with no money involved, maybe we'll consider meeting you as a person. But you will never be our mother. Grandma Martha earned that title. Valerie sobs. But Michael isn't done. And about Aunt Grace's inheritance. I want you to know when we turn 21, the first thing we're doing is giving a huge piece of it to Grandma, because she deserves to be paid back for every single sacrifice. Lisa and Sarah stand up, joining their brother. I also want to say, Lisa says, I don't hate you, Cynthia, but I don't know you. You're a stranger. My real family is right here. Sarah, my baby, looks right at her. And I want you to know, if you had come back for love, if you had come back just missing us, maybe we could have built something, but you came back for money, and that tells us everything we need to know. The judge hits his gavel. This court rules as follows. The permanent legal guardianship of Mrs. Martha Jenkins is confirmed. A 5-year restraining order is issued against Mrs. Cynthia Green. The custody demand is declared null and void. Mrs. Green is prohibited from filing any similar lawsuit in the future. Cynthia is just broken. Mom, she whispers, can you ever forgive me? I walk over to her, the weight of 14 years on my shoulders. I put my hand on her cheek. Cynthia, I forgave you a long time ago. But forgiveness doesn't mean I can let you hurt these children again. They have suffered enough. What am I supposed to do now? She asks, like a lost child. You're going to go home. You're going to take care of that son you have. You're going to get help. And maybe someday, you'll become a person they want to know. And if Robert leaves me, because I lost the money, I sigh. Then perhaps it's time you learn to stand on your own 2 feet, daughter. Perhaps it's time you stop making your life decisions based on what some man wants. The judge stands. This court is closed. As we left the courthouse, I felt so strange. I had won. But I was so sad. I lost the hope that my daughter had come back for the right reasons. But when Michael, Lisa, and Sarah wrapped their arms around me in that hallway, I knew. I did the right thing. Sometimes love means protecting, even if it hurts. 3 months later, I'm in my kitchen, watching Sarah practice her clarinet. The sun is streaming in. Michael is doing great in his college classes. Lisa sold her first painting at a local art fair. Life is peaceful. The restraining order gave us that. The doorbell rings. It's my neighbor, Mrs. Doris Peterson, the judge's cousin. She has a plate of cookies. "Martha, I brought you these," she says, smiling. "Doris, come in. Have some coffee." As I'm pouring, she gets that look. "Just say it, Doris." "It's about Cynthia," she says. "My cousin Robert told me." She tried to appeal. They told her she has no case. That surrender note was ironclad, especially with her behavior. But Martha, there's something else. Robert, her partner, he left her. Last week. Took their son and told her he couldn't stay with a woman who fumbled $225,000. The news just hits me. She's my daughter. It hurts to hear. Where is she?" "In a little one-room apartment downtown, working nights, cleaning offices. Robert says she looks awful. Just thin and sad." Sarah stops playing. "Are you talking about her?" "Yes, baby," I say. Sarah sits down. "Do you feel bad for her, Grandma?" The question is so adult. Yes, I do. Despite everything. She's still my daughter. I don't like knowing she's suffering. But that doesn't mean we were wrong, right? I smile and touch her hair. No, baby. You can feel compassion for someone and still protect yourself from them. Doris interrupts. "Martha, there's one more thing. Cynthia has been asking, not violating the order, but asking neighbors about the kids, if they're okay, if they're doing well in school." "Do you think she's planning something?" I ask, that old fear creeping back. "I don't know, but Robert wanted you to be aware." That night, I can't sleep. I keep picturing Cynthia, alone in that room. No partner, no son, no money. The next day, I do something that surprises even me. I go to the grocery store. I buy rice, beans, chicken, vegetables, soup, bread. I pack it all up and I drive to that address Doris gave me. It's a rundown building. I climb to the 4th floor and knock on 4B. I hear footsteps. "Who is it?" Her voice is rough. "It's me, Cynthia. It's your mom." A long silence. Then the sound of a chain. The door opens. It's her. Doris was right. She's a ghost. So thin, with dark circles under her eyes. "Mom?" she whispers, like she's seeing things. "What are you doing here?" "I brought you some food," I say, holding up the bags. "Can I come in?" She steps aside. The apartment is tiny, but clean. A mattress on the floor, a small table. Unpaid bills are stacked on it. "Why?" she asks, as I put the bags on her little counter. "Because you're my daughter," I say. "And because I can't stand the thought of you starving." Cynthia just collapses onto the mattress and breaks. She sobs, a horrible racking sound. "Mom, I lost everything. Robert took David. He told me I was a loser, that I ruined everything." I sit on the edge of the mattress. "And what did you say?" "Nothing, because he's right. I'm a loser. I lost my first kids. I lost the inheritance. I lost David. I lost my home. Cynthia," I say, my voice soft but strong. "You didn't lose your first children. You abandoned them. There's a difference." She looks up, her eyes red. "You'll always remind me, won't you?" "I won't let you rewrite it. If you want to change, really change, you have to start with the truth. The truth is, you had 3 beautiful children, and you left them because they weren't convenient. You forgot about them for 14 years, and you only came back for money." "I know," she yells. "I live with that. Every second." Guilt is useless, Cynthia. Guilt is just self-pity. What's useful is repentance. A real desire to be better. "And how do you know if I'm repentant?" "Because if you were," I say, You wouldn't have come back demanding custody. You would have come back asking for forgiveness. You would have come back asking how you could help, not what you could get. She's silent for a long time. Can I ever see them again? Maybe, I say. But it will be on their terms, when they're ready, if they're ever ready. In the meantime, you work on you. Get therapy. Find a stable job. Learn to be alone. Become the woman you wish their mother had been. I walk to the door. That food will last a week. After that, you're on your own. Will you come back? She asks, her voice so small. I don't know, Cynthia. That depends entirely on you. I leave, feeling so strange. I don't know if I did the right thing. But I couldn't let her starve. When I get home, Michael is there studying. Grandma, where were you? I tell him the truth. I went to see your biological mom. His face hardens. Why? Because she's hungry, Michael. And she's still my daughter. He closes his book. Grandma? I hope this doesn't mean you're letting her back in. No, baby. It means I can feel compassion without compromising our safety. There's a difference. He nods. Do you think she'll ever really change? I don't know, I say. But if she does, it will be because she decided to, not because we rescued her. 1 year later, I'm sitting in my garden. Arthur graduated and has a good job. Lisa got a scholarship to art school. Sarah, now 18, is leading the marching band. The inheritance is safe in their accounts waiting. They've flourished. Doris comes by. Martha, I have news. What is it, Doris? It's Cynthia. She's been in therapy for 6 months, paying for it herself. And she got a new job, a day job as a receptionist. She looks better, stable. I feel something. Surprise. Has she asked about the kids? No. In fact, she told my cousin that she knows her mom already did enough, and that now it's her turn to prove she can change without asking for anything. I feel proud for the first time in so long. That afternoon, Sarah comes home. Grandma, can I ask you something? Always. Do you think, will I ever want to meet her? I smile. I don't know, baby. That's a decision only you can make when you're ready. Would you be mad if I did? No, honey. I'd be proud of you. And if you decided never to meet her, I'd be proud of you for that too. It's your choice. 100%. That night, I think about it all. For so many years, I held on to anger at Cynthia, for leaving me, for forgetting, for coming back for money. But I realized that anger was just a chain, tying me to her. When I let it go, I got free. Last week, Michael turned 22. He has access to his money now. The first thing he did? He wrote me a check for $15,000. For all the groceries and rent, Grandma, he said. I cried. I accepted it, not because I needed it, but because he needed to give it. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if Cynthia had come back for love. If she'd just shown up, asking for forgiveness. Maybe we could have built something. But life isn't about maybe. It's about what we do. I chose to protect 3 abandoned children. I chose to love them when their own mother couldn't. And when the time came, I chose to fight for them. I don't regret one single day. Today, watching my grandkids, now adults, plan their futures, I know I did the right thing. They are good, kind, strong people. People ask if I hate Cynthia. The answer is no. I don't hate her, but I don't excuse her. Abandoning your children isn't a mistake. It's a decision that defines you. She chose her new life over them. I chose them over my own comfort. We are both living with the consequences. The difference is, I can sleep at night knowing I put them first. She has to live knowing she put them last. Justice isn't always about punishment. Sometimes justice is just each person getting what their actions earned. I earned the love of my grandchildren. She earned their absence. It's not revenge, it's a natural consequence. And if she's really changed, maybe, someday, they'll decide to give her a chance, but it will be their decision, on their terms. In the meantime, I'll be right here. Their grandmother, their protector, their safe home, their unconditional love. Because that's how true love works. It doesn't abandon. It doesn't set conditions. It just is. And at the end of the day, that's enough. Did you like my story? And which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you like the story, you can support me by sending a super thanks so I can keep bringing more stories like this. Thank you so much for your sweet support. I'm looking forward to your comments on the story. On the screen, you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend. There's so much more on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story. With love and respect.